Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the presentation of the MICA project. At the beginning, I would like to, we are very honored to receive the greetings from the Minister Elena Sgarbi, who is Deputy Commissioner for Italy Expo Osaka 2025. Please.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to all of you. First of all, you are most welcome to the Italy Pavilion at Expo 2025, Osaka, Kansai. It is really an honor to have you here. First of all, my warmest thanks to the Vice Director for International Relations at Ca' Foscari University of Venice, Chiara Saccon, who is leading this beautiful, beautiful team, and a thanks to all the participants coming today for a very interesting project that will highlight not only the extraordinary quality of Italian culture, but also its ability to mix with new technologies to make culture even more available on any level. We will learn more about it later on, but let me point out a very special element in this occasion. We today, May the 6th, are on the last day of the Co-Creating Culture for the Future week. Expo is organized through different thematic weeks that point out many aspects who are particularly relevant for the creation of a better future society for all of our lives. And of course, culture. Co-creating culture means the culture of a specific nation mingled and open to contact with cultures from other realities. I think this is one of the most important elements for a healthy, safe, and bustling societies. As I said, on this day, when we are still in this very poignant thematic week, we learn more about the project MICA, Make Italian Culture Alive, which is the first big project that is presented at the Italy Pavilion for the semester of Expo by Italian universities. It is a project financed by the Ministry of University and Research, and it is realized by 5 of the most prestigious universities in Italian system: Ca' Foscari Venice, Università degli Studi in Florence, Università degli Studi in Naples L'Orientale, Università Statale in Milan, Università La Sapienza in Rome, and with the participation of the foundation Changes. I don't want to take time from the protagonists, the main protagonists of this beautiful project that today will be presented to all of you, and it will take place from May the 6th till May the 10th, because there are so many aspects that are very interesting, and they are the main topics we are dealing today. But again, let me underline how the Italian system today comes together to show how culture is a vital element for the growing of interactions that are meaningful, that are healthy, that are bringing something inherently important to everyday lives. So welcome again to the protagonists of this event. Thank you for being here today at the Italy Pavilion, and enjoy the MICA project. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister Elena Sgarbi, for the very, very kind and wonderful word. So again, a warm welcome to the presentation of the Make Italian Culture Alive MICA project. That is a project dedicated to the enhancement of Italian artistic and cultural heritage. We are very happy to participate in the Expo 2025 Osaka Kansai in this vibrant city, and we are grateful to our country Ministry of University and Research, which has given us the opportunity to be here today. At the beginning of last year, we responded to the call from the ministry by presenting the 5 universities altogether, the MICA project, and choosing the theme of art and culture. This was a great opportunity to work all together, to know each other better, and to work as a system, as an Italian system, and to present and valuing our research and enforce the impact of it in a context that is not only international, but also universal, which is precisely an exhibition of this type, and thus be able to enhance our knowledge through a valuable and indispensable comparison with so many countries and so many institutional and corporate realities. I was telling you that we chose the theme of art and culture of the enhancement of Italy's artistic and cultural heritage. We are used to thinking of Italy's monumental beauty as a heritage to be admired, yes, beautiful, but static. In this project, instead, we have tried to give it a dynamic, contextual, and interactive representation. That is a heritage in continuous transformation that comes back to life and makes culture alive. And this is the name of our project, Make Italian Culture Alive. And we know that in Japanese language, MICA means jar, and so we think sort of a jar containing very precious things. MICA offers an opportunity to explore Italy's artistic and cultural heritage through innovative approaches involving the audience in multimedia installations, workshops, and presentations of cutting-edge research projects. The individual part of the project highlights cultural heritage for sustainable tourism involving communities in designing solutions to face challenges, integrating creativity and digital transformation. Then the project proposes the use of artificial intelligence and robotics to analyze and assembling fragments of ancient frescoes, rediscover the art of Japanese writing through precious manuscripts that are now digitalized, gives example of restoration and conservation rooted in the past but open to the future. Presents also educational path and professions for the enhancement of intangible cultural heritage. But I'm not saying anymore. Instead, I leave the floor to the first part of the project presented by Monica Calcagno, so the changes part.
Yeah. Thank you. How should I move here? Okay. It's a very pleasure. It's a real pleasure for me to stay here today and to present our project. Our project is a part of a larger project, one of the many projects that received finances for recovery and resilience after the COVID-19, a project that is dedicated to cultural resources, cultural heritage, and this, we call them spoke. The spoke number 9 is the last spoke of a big project that you will see during the exhibition together with other universities. So we, as Ca' Foscari, we are leading this spoke, and the name of the spoke gives you the story and the reason why we are connecting these things. So cultural resources for sustainable tourism. But before presenting the project, I'm going to just give you a short introduction on who we are. So Ca' Foscari University of Venice is leading the project together with Coop Culture. Coop Culture is the largest organization placed in Italy and managing cultural institutions, bookshops of museums, ticketing offices, and many services, letting possible visiting so many monuments and places of culture in Italy. And together with all the universities that are listed in this slide, you can see the powerful dimension of our project, connecting universities from the north, from the south, from the center of Italy, and together with companies like Coop Culture and also engineering and excellence, DTC Lazio, and so on. So these are all the partners that are involved in our project. But what is the project? The starting point is listed there. So climate crisis, migrations, technological change pose new challenges to all of us. These challenges have to do with over-tourism and how to manage over-tourism, how to preserve our heritage, how to introduce technological innovations in order to let the experience of the visitors even better than before, and also to reflect on the role and meaning of cultural heritage, not just as stones, bricks, monuments, churches, and things that are preserved in museums, but also as part of our life. And as a part of our life, it's connected with our history, but it's also connected with our future, with the evolution of our life through which we reinterpret, we remake sense of our past and our history and our cultural heritage. So this dynamic dimension of heritage. And our project starts from communities. CREST means Cultural Resources for Sustainable Tourism. What is the sustainability we are looking for? Our focus is on social sustainability. There is so much on green and environmental sustainability, but we focus more on social in terms of involving communities, restarting from communities in order to involve them in the way we tell the story of our past, narrate our history, remake sense of our cultural heritage. So design solutions for making cultural sustainability and cultural tourism more sustainable also for communities living in places. This is the reason why I put there images of not monuments, but people. People involved in the project as people participated in our workshop where we let the people participate with their ideas in order to find new perspectives, looking for new solutions, and looking also for the needs coming from the population living in places of culture and artistic places. Young generations, people involved in the project also are young generations that are looking for their future, and they are trying to combine the preservation of cultural heritage together with the preservation of our environment to mitigate the effects of our technologies that are supporting so much us, but also having an impact in terms of temperature, climate change, and sustainability of our environment. And also the social construction of heritage. Heritage is always a process of social construction where we participate, we make sense not alone, but together with others. And so these are images also telling the story of our participating communities that were participating in excavations or visiting places of excavations, as an example. So peripheral locations means also looking at the cultural heritage. We are based in Venice. Our Ca' Foscari University is based in Venice, in the historical place. But we are also looking at Venice from other perspectives. For peripheral locations like rural areas, just think about the Dolomites, the wonderful places we are around Venice with all those churches and places of culture that are in the territory. And so looking at Venice and looking at the cultural heritage, not just in the center of Venice, but also moving around Venice and exploring the beauty and the culture around Venice. Social construction, bottom-up dynamics, and communities, narratives, and practices. So the keywords of our project can be seen in cultural heritage, tourism, and citizenship. And just in one sentence, we try to analyze the processes through which cultural heritage is constituted and renewed every day, with a special attention to participatory processes that engage communities and make cultural heritage increasingly relevant to our society. Cultural heritage, in other words, is not something that can be seen just in museums, but is continuously renovated in the life of our people. So looking at our society and the transformation of our society, we can make sense again and again of our past and our history. The desired impact of our project is in defining new models of governance, in testing new tools for sharing cultural heritage and increasing social cohesion. Think about all the migrants, all the other population crossing the countries and bearing with them their own culture and how this culture can be mingled and crossed and can be nurturing our future. Supporting the development of feasible and scalable solutions for a more sustainable tourism. What we are experimenting in Venice can be seen as a small project, a small prototype in order to be scalable, to find solutions that can be scalable in the future for other countries and other places. Three major steps of our project, and these are the strong interdisciplinary commitment of our project. We are working all together, people from linguistic experiences, people from management, as I'm from management, people from heritage, people from preservation studies. So all these people are working together, all our researchers are working together in a very cross and interdisciplinary project, because we just not apply solutions to cultural heritage, but we are looking for solutions all together, all working together. Pilots in the territory. We are experimenting many different pilots, from the Dolomites to rural areas, to the Laguna, to Venice, to small islands around Venice, to other places in other countries, in other regions, like not only the Veneto region, but also the Piemonte and other regions working with us, in Florence as an example. And also the third dimension, cascade funds. These kind of projects have a strong aim to have an impact, a social impact, and also an economic impact in the territory. So what we are doing is also co-financing entrepreneurial projects based in the territory, from the south to the north, in order to find and experiment and prototype sustainable solutions for cultural tourism. So cooperating with many private and public companies working for these solutions. The work packages, I don't bother you with these old packages, but you can find here the list of the main 6 work packages. What is important to notice here is that in these work packages, again, we are working all together. There is not a specialization in terms of the this is something for management, or this is something for cultural heritage practitioners, but all these work packages are involving people from different perspectives and different backgrounds in order to find a way to integrate our knowledge. The main results, what we already done is we have been already working in rural areas and in the mountains in order to experiment solutions for the changing mountains. You know that climate changes is having an impact on the mountains. And so also the mountains are looking for cultural way to attract people, and not just for sport or for the traditional sport that we experienced in the past, because climate is changing and is forcing us to find other ways to attract people to visit the mountains. Art cities and the effect of over-tourism and how to mitigate these effects. Participated archaeological sites, as in the images I showed you before, and cultural heritage in the peripheral areas where we don't expect to find cultural heritage because they are not monumental areas. But there is a growing social constructions of new kinds of cultural heritage where new people are coming together and they build their own culture. And the voice of the others. The others are not the professionals as we are, but the others are communities of people living in areas and having their own ideas and interpretation of heritage. In progress, 22 projects of finance but cascade funds. This means at least 22 companies working with us on specific solutions and prototypes to find new ways, bottom-up and participative ways to communicate the heritage. policies and societal impact. We experienced in Venice a 3 days workshop inviting more than 150 professionals working together with us and also to explore new kind of policies for empowering and boosting the role of cultural heritage and made the changes. We are also lastly experiencing a way to certificate, a way to make an idea of what is quality of cultural tourism in terms of sustainability and social sustainability. This is a new project we are growing now and we are entering now. These are some images. Old communities meeting together in a wonderful place in Ca' Foscari, but also young generation working in these ancient and so rich and so beautiful places in Ca' Foscari, but all this new generation and old generation coming together to find new solutions for cultural heritage. And that's all. I thank you for your attention. I'm quite in the right time, so I'm happy to be here, and I invite you to come to visit our pavilion when we will put all our images and videos and workshops in order to learn more about our project, about the words, and so living the experience together with us. So thank you so much.
Margherita De Luca, here is. She will talk about the project related to tourism, able to combine heritage, creativity, and digital innovation. Please, Margherita.
Yeah, thank you all of you for being here. I thank Monica because our project looks alike. Also, our project has been founded by the Italian National Recovery and Resilience Plan, and it's part of this big project called INEST. But today I will present to you the spoke number 6 that deals with tourism, culture, and creative industries. Well, so what is INEST, which is the biggest project, is a collaborative innovation ecosystem that unites 24 partners, including universities, public research institutions, but also private organizations. And it's based on the northeastern part of Italy. So the main regions involved are the one in the north and eastern part of Italy, Friuli Venezia Giulia, Veneto, and the autonomous provinces of Trento and Bolzano are the one more involved in the project. And what we are doing is divide in different topics, and our topic it's in the spoke number 6, but the project deals with different kind of argument that wants to bring sustainability into different fields and aspects of research and practice. So our spoke, which is the number 6, it's led by Ca' Foscari University and focuses in particular on enhancing tourism and the cultural experiences in the northern part of Italy by integrating different things that can be creativity, technology, with the important aim of sustainability. So this project brings together what we like to call a very variegated and multidisciplinary team of people. We are a lot of young researchers. I'm representing one of them, but also we have 25 faculty members from the universities of Bose and Bolzano, the Libera Università di Bolzano, University of Trento, University of Verona. And what we are doing here today and in the following days through our presentation and project and workshop, we would like to present what we have achieved till now. And this, what we like to call looking forward vision of tourism that combines creativity, heritage, and digital innovation. And we would like to do so through presenting Souvenir, which is the project we are exposing in the following days. So, like the project that presented before the Professor Calcagno, we have this mechanism called Cascade Funding Opportunity, which is quite interesting because it's one of the first time that universities can and are able to give money to private organizations and enterprises to accelerate the path from research to application. So with this strong focus on impact, and it's a way also, we do that from the southern to the northern part of Italy to foster these collaborations between academia, the academia and industry. And we are in the process of collaborating with the funded enterprises. So they are doing different projects in different fields related to tourism and touristic experiences with the key of sustainability always present. And another way we deal with the public and we are experimenting these new techniques is through the Lab Village, which is an operation of Spoke 6 of Tourist Culture Creative Industries that has been projected to be a network of applied research and co-creation laboratories that brings together different kind of stakeholders, so researchers, but also local communities, tourist operation, and institution, and also artists, in order to design and test prototypes that can promote sustainable tourism. We divide that in 3 main themes, which are mountains, outdoor, and cities, and we are experimenting with the artists and also with the community different way to engage tourism in another way, in a more sustainable way. We are in the process of interrogating ourselves on how we can do that, but we will do that. We have already made one step of it, and the next step will come in the following months. But it's an interesting perspective because it can help us to understand what's the community, because we are in touch with the community, and here we can create a link between different kind of stakeholders. What we brought here is the project Souvenir, which is a project we carry out in Venice. I want to underline the fact that this project deals with this big part of northern Italy, but we brought here this project that has been made in Venice because it looked to us that it was a way to make us understand a difficult part of the heritage and the transmission of heritage and preservation of heritage. I talked about transmission because this project is about the transmission of knowledge in craft, memory, and it's an art-based research project. And what does it mean? It means that in this project in particular, but in the Ca' Foscari University of Venice, we used to work with artists as researchers. We tend to merge these kind of approaches. One is academic and one is artistic research, but the aim is the same, is to achieve new knowledge, new theoretical frameworks on facts and data and so on. And in this case, we combine photography, storytelling, and field research, in particular interview, to preserve and share the memory of Venetian craftsmanship through what has been defined as a creative and emotional lens. You will see after we can share some example, but in this case, we as researchers went out with the artists, so with the photographer and with the theater company and actors. We interviewed these craft people that were retired from their craft work, but we researched what that could be the way in which they tend to transmit their knowledge, if it's possible, if it's a problem, because in a city that tends to be overwhelmed by mass consumption, that is an interesting issue to research. In particular, focusing on the role of craft memory, we ask ourselves some questions. So, for example, how did all the artisans learn these skills in the interviews? How were these skills transmitted across generation to their sons or to their collaborators? And what happens when, like in these days, through mass consumption, when there is mass consumption, this transmission tends to fade. So the project addresses the fragile continuity of this tacit knowledge in the city that is under pressure, of course, from mass tourism and cultural commodification. So we try to go beyond nostalgia, because we have seen craft and we have interpreted craft as a cultural resilience in a tourist city. In fact, in a city where cultural commodification and mass tourism and not sustainable tourism is overly increasing, we wanted to give space to the voices of those who shaped the city in the past through their manual skill, because if the city we know is the one we know, it's also thanks to these people that work and live in the city. So through this project, we highlight the deep connection between craft identity and place, in this case Venice, and we underline the fact that there is a risk of losing intangible heritage in a city overwhelmed by tourist economy and tourism. And we highlighted also the role of these traditional skills as a form of cultural resilience, in a city that needs this kind of resilience. So within, as spoke Sai and Ca' Foscari University, we worked in this kind of project. It's just one of them, but we've made others. And we would like to demonstrate how innovation and memory can coexist in this way in the development of a more sustainable tourism, because there is an issue, which kind of tourism is sustainable. Now we are in the process of wanting to achieve a more sustainable tourism. And we would like to do that, and we are doing that by connecting research, local knowledge, and in this case, but also in other cases, creative practices. And we are imagining and reimagining tourist cities not just as place of consumption, so where people goes and consume the city as a good that can be consumed, but as a living cultural ecosystem, so with all its actors involved. So we invite the partners, institutions, all the people here to join us also in everyday life, in small actions, to shape tourism that values people, also when we are visiting like tourists, like us, like me here, in shaping tourism that values people, skills, and stories, and not just consumption. So these are the credits of our. I want to thank my colleagues that cannot be here now, and the project and the people I collaborated with in this project. And yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Margherita. I forgot to tell the audience that you can ask questions when you want. If you have any curiosity, please ask. Okay. Now is the turn of Marcello Pellillo. He will talk about a combination of artificial intelligence and robotics in reconstructing artistic heritage.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marcello Pellillo, and I'm a professor of computer science and artificial intelligence at Ca' Foscari, University of Venice. I will be presenting the REPAIR project. REPAIR is an acronym which stands for Reconstructing the Past, Artificial Intelligence and Robotics Meet Cultural Heritage. In order to illustrate the main concept of this project, I will go straight to the first slide, which contains a short video, which I hope, here we go, it started. So here you can see a very simple robotic system, which basically consists of a simple robotic arm. And this robotic system, together with artificial intelligence, is trying to solve the jigsaw puzzle, a very simple one indeed, very simple because it contains only a few tens, say maybe 30 or less pieces. And so there are three major components in this robotic platform that I will be talking about later. But basically what we are trying to do with this project is exactly this. So imagine you replace the tiles that you have seen before with real fresco fragments. And imagine that instead of dealing with just 20 or 30 pieces, you're dealing with hundreds or maybe thousands of fragments. And this is exactly what we want to do. Our ultimate goal, our vision, is to build a robotic platform which will be able to automatically or semi-automatically reconstruct large broken frescoes. And this is a European project. Ca' Foscari University is the leader of this project, but there are 5 more partners, one of which is the Italian Institute of Technology in Italy. Another one is Ben Gurion University in Israel. Another one is the Instituto Superior Tecnico from Lisbon in Portugal. Another one is the University of Bonn in Germany. And finally, we have the Pompeii Archaeological Park. The project started almost 4 years ago in September 2021. It got a funding of about 3.5 million euros, and it will end very soon. Actually, will end at the end of October this year. Let me start with our partner, with the Pompeii Archaeological Park in the first place. Maybe you have heard about it. The Pompeii Archaeological Park is one of the most famous archaeological parks in the world. Here you can see a picture which shows the city of Pompeii with its archaeological park. In the background, you can see, it's a very intimidating background, you can see Mount Vesuvius, which, as you probably know, erupted in 79 AD and buried the entire city with all its inhabitants. And on top of that, we learned during this project that the Pompeii Archaeological Park was also bombed during the Second World War. We visited this park a while ago before starting the project because we had this idea of setting up this project. So we contacted the director of the park and to illustrate our idea. And he was very excited, actually, to listen about this project. He took us to a small building, we're going to show this later, which contained thousands and thousands of pieces, some of which you can see here, from the very popular building which was called the Insula of the Chest Lovers. And this is a specific room which is called the House of the Painters at Work. So this fresco, as you might imagine, got destroyed twice, as I said before. The first time after the eruption of the Mount Vesuvius, and the second time during the bombing in the Second World War. This is what we found when we went there in 2018, actually, when we started thinking about this project. They took us to this little building, which is nowadays is our lab, basically, and they showed us thousands and thousands of pieces, which were just waiting to someone or to something, maybe, to reconstruct it. Let me briefly explain how the project is structured. There are 3 major phases in the project, each of which has its own difficulties. The first one is the data acquisition and the 3D modeling. So the first step in this project is just to acquire all the fragments, to digitize all these fragments, and to create a database which contains all the fragments that we want to reconstruct. This specific phase has its own difficulties because when we want to solve the puzzle, we need both 3D shape information and also visual information. And in order to do that, we used both a 3D scanner, which allows us to get very precise 3D information, but also we use high-resolution camera, which allows us to get high-resolution images of our fragments. And combining the outputs of those 2 systems, we managed to get a very good rendering of each and every piece in our puzzle. And by the way, we just released a database which is publicly available. Everyone can access the database. Archaeologists are very happy about this because they can look at the pieces staying at home. They can even try to solve the puzzle at home without the need to go to Pompeii and try to match pieces. The second phase of the project is the most challenging one, even with the help of AI, is the puzzle-solving problem itself. So basically, the reconstruction problem is like solving a jigsaw puzzle. But the problem is that it's much more difficult than that. We all know what it means to solve a jigsaw puzzle. Usually, we know how the picture will look like. We know the picture on the box, which is very helpful when we solve a puzzle. And very often, the pieces match very well. And we have a lot of information that we use when we solve our toy jigsaw puzzles. Now, in our case, there are a lot of challenges. In the first place, we don't have the picture on the box. We don't know how these frescoes look like, for the simple reason that these frescoes got destroyed 2,000 years ago. And there are many missing pieces, so in the final reconstruction, there will be a lot of holes. The pieces are very deteriorated, they don't match well, and that's very challenging, even with the help of AI. And on top of that, in the particular case study that we are considering, we are basically solving multiple puzzles at a time, because those frescoes were in a room. Each side of the room had its own fresco, and the ceiling as well. And when the room collapsed, it's like you buy, I don't know, 4 or 5 boxes of puzzles. You mix all the pieces together, you throw the boxes away, and then you try to solve all these puzzles at the same time. So there is this even a more difficult aspect that we are going to consider. And finally, there is the robotic platform itself, because our vision is not only to solve the puzzle virtually, but also to reassemble the puzzle physically. And of course, this problem itself is very challenging, because the robotic platform should be able to identify the pieces correctly, to approach the pieces in the right way, to handle the pieces very delicately, because these fragments are very delicate, and they might get destroyed if a robotic hand tries to handle it. In order to deal with this problem, we are using a technology which was originally developed at the Italian Institute of Technology. This is called soft hand. Soft hand is a robotic hand, which is at the same time soft, as the name implies, but also very strong, as you can see from this video, because it can handle in a delicate way, very heavy objects. And this is a video which shows on a simple robotic arm how the hand works. We are using 2 such hands. One is small, the other is big, because the fragments that we are considering have different sizes. And finally, this is the robotic platform. Maybe we can turn the audio off if it's possible. Thank you. So this is a video which we took just a few weeks ago in our lab in Pompeii. It's the first version of our prototype. You see there are 2 arms, each of which equipped with cameras, of course. As you can see, there is one small hand and another big one, which allows to handle bigger pieces. And this is the first time that we let the system work in Pompeii. And this is basically showing how the system is able to delicately take a piece and move it in another place without breaking it, which of course is very important. Okay, I think that's it. If you are interested about the project, in the first place, come to our stand. We are going to explain to you how the system works, the different phases with which we are working. And of course, you can visit our website and you can learn more about what you are doing. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Marcello. And now there is Marcella Mariotti. And Marcella will present the Nullbrick project that aims to make foreign languages accessible to learners at all levels through real-life contexts, using also the cultural heritage language. Okay. This is a project that stems from the important tradition we have at Ca' Foscari in Japanese studies.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for gathering today and for taking part in our Null Brick workshop backstage. 皆様、お忙しい中ご来場いただき誠にありがとうございました。今日はノールブリックバックステージを紹介させていただきます。現在は視聴者はどの方かわからなかったので、一般的にプレゼンテーションは英語でさせていただきます。So let me introduce to you the workshop team. I'm Marcella Mariotti, Associate Professor at Ca' Foscari University of Venice, where I teach Japanese and opened in 2018 the first course of Japanese Critical Language Education for student autonomy and empowerment. I've been the chairperson of the Association of Japanese Language Teachers in Europe from 2014 to 2020, gaining a worldwide view of teachers' and learners' needs while collaborating for solutions, one of these being Null Brick approach. Margherita Melotti is our project coordinator. She got her master's degree from Ca' Foscari University of Venice with a thesis on deaf education in Japan, and is now a recipient of a Japanese government scholarship at the University of Tokyo. Matilde Giugni is our project assistant, and she's now writing her MA thesis on employability and Japanese language proficiency. And finally, Nicolas Ruggeri, while working at the Ashinaga Foundation in Tokyo, he is now writing his MA thesis on this very workshop, applying Null Brick perspective to Italian language pedagogy, and is our workshop collaborator. But let's see what is this all about. Che sarà questo? Giusto? Okay. I will introduce the environment where level-free Null Brick perspective has developed, its key concept, and previous projects, reaching finally to May 9th and 10th activities. Ca' Foscari University of Venice is a public university established in 1868 and has started Japanese language lessons already in 1873, when the first Japanese consulate in Europe opened in Venice. However, since the early 2000s, Ca' Foscari has almost triplicated the number of its students and teaching staff in Japanese studies and became the largest academic institution of Japanese studies in Italy, but also in Europe, alongside INALCO in Paris and SOAS in London. At present, we have almost 1,200 students specializing in BA and AMA and PhD courses, which are taught by 37 teaching staff, including 17 of our professors, researchers, and teachers, so almost 50% of the teaching staff who are specialists in Japanese language. So no better field for researching on Japanese language teaching and learning. No level brick language education developed in 2018 thanks to Ca' Foscari supporting principal investigators fundings. More than 60 students of Japanese language and 12 facilitators were involved in the starting project. Null Brick research aims to create active citizens able to cooperatively question power relations and advocate for a more just and inclusive society. And here you can see the first team in Belgrade at the International Conference on Japanese Language Education in Europe in 2018. Okay. The first steps of level 3 perspective were taken in Japan since 2008, thanks to the Japan Society for the Promotion of Science postdoc fellowship, while developing the first online free Japanese grammar dictionary for Italian speakers. Since then, fundings from Mitsubishi Corporation and Japan Foundation helped us to develop more active collaborative projects and new tools for thinking time. Some are Jalea Business, and the Kafoskari Jisho application, dictionary application, always aiming at using classes' time to interact with each other, to think together, and express opinions and ideas, more than to be lost in supposed proficiency level perfection. You can read more on Nolbrick blog page if you are able to get the QR to have the access. Okay, some of our tools, so free past grammar dictionary with authentic materials, which has pictures and movies from Japan, to the Japanese, business Japanese web application with a built-in email creator in Japanese and the automatic CV builder, up to the Japanese-Italian free dictionary Kafoskari Jisho application. And here you have the QR code for the application of the dictionary. This is the very motto of Nolbrick. So every person has the right and responsibility to speak regardless of their language proficiency level. And by leaving to technology what it can handle by itself, by its own, humans, which are students and learners, can take back the time to think, feel, and create, meaning that we do not need anymore to learn perfect grammar before being able to say our opinion. But, okay, why BRIC? And I ask to the Regia, the video, please.
We don't need no education. We don't need no thought control. Hey, teacher, leave them kids alone. All in all, you're just another brick in the wall.
So BRIC, BRIC is from the Pink Floyd album The Wall, and in Japanese, Nolbrick motto says like, 誰にでも発言権利とその責任がある。で、言語能力と関係なく。で、ツールは機械に。で、think, feel, create は人に。So it is called Nolbrick from the Pink Floyd The Wall music album, and it's working, which invites teachers not to be another brick in the wall, but to support active critical learning for empowering students and teachers, reciprocally asking why and who is gaining and who is excluded from this teaching process is the critical pedagogy standing point. Nolbrick research for a level 3 language pedagogy aims to active citizens able to cooperatively question power relations, so as to stand for a more just and inclusive society. But you may want to know more with this QR code as well. The three keywords for Nolbrick approach are collaboration, inclusion, and shared responsibility, following the Italian thinker Antonio Gramsci and Brazilian pedagogist Paulo Freire, who push to participative citizenship. And a very quick example, this is all Japanese, but I will translate in English, from the Virtual Business Nolbrick Project online internship in 2019. There were 10 the intern participants, divided in 3 teams: email department, CV department, and video making department. And they were requested to find out what were students and teachers most felt problems about business Japanese education, creating surveys to students as well as teachers, in Japanese to gathering data and become self-aware of needs, finding out dedicated solutions. So the teacher was not going to tell them what to do, but just asking them what they are, their own needs, and to look themselves for solution. Let's see, only 16 seconds of the results from collaboration and co-responsibility. This is a job interview sample they created the Nolbrick way. And by the way, one of the 3 actors we will see soon is the voice of our workshop in the next 9th and 10th of May. Please, 60 seconds only, 16, the video.
ロッシさんは、私は推進力がありますと自己 PR に書いていましたが、推進力があるとはどういう意味ですか？
そうですね。
Come durante l'esame di trattativa commerciale, questa è una cosa che capita spesso anche durante i colloqui di lavoro.
Stop, please.
I termini che usiamo.
Okay, so they were all finding solution by themselves. And a second example, I go very briefly, I'm sorry, we will be overdoing the 7 minutes. They were faster than you. So a second example of beyond levels, Nolbrick is taken from the virtual Ryugaku 2, where you can find different kind of classroom with different levels and proficiency from teachers, students, and facilitators who just want to become teachers. So a mix of proficiency of Japanese. Putting into action Open the World with the dictionary free application Kafoskari Jisho. And here too, you can find more on our website. But now please, Matilde, you were the most active social media manager, so introduce to us the most widely seen shared example of Nolbrick approach.
So, hello everyone, I'm Matilde Giugni, Level 3 Nolbrick Italian Workshop Project Assistant. Collaboration and co-creation brought up to our Nolbrick team related Instagram, so Jalea Unive. And we carried out many internship activities with students related to post and content creation, addressed not only to students who are studying Japanese, but also to people who are generally interested in Japanese language and in Japan, making contents easily accessible for everyone, as Nolbrick method suggests. And posts and stories are related to the projects that Professor Mariotti organizes and coordinates, such as Business Experience Workshop. And Jalea Instagram is fundamental for presenting Nolbrick projects and transmitting them outside the classroom, engaging responsible and active citizenship. So QR コードをスキャンして最新ニュースをフォローしてください。And let's now turn to what we are going to do at Expo on Friday 9th and 10th with Margherita Melotti.
Hello everyone, I'm Margherita Melotti and I'm the internship coordinator. I'm the coordinator for this workshop. 皆さんこんばんは。本ワークショップのプロジェクトコーディネートをさせていただくマルゲリータと申します。大変申し訳ございませんが、私も英語で説明させていただきます。日本語でのご質問をご希望する方は後ほどお気軽にお声掛けください。So let me briefly introduce our Italian workshop that will be held later this week. Thank you so much. So as part of the Make Italian Culture Alive MICA project, we wanted to offer an interactive and inclusive way for everyone to delve into Italian language. So we will have 2 sessions. One is Friday 9th and one is Saturday 10th. And with approximately 20 participants each. And our idea for this workshop is for participants to enhance their Italian skills in an immersive cultural setting. So you heard about amazing projects that are being presented at this MICA project. So what we want to do, what we want everyone to do, is to enjoy these exhibitions through Italian language. Following the Nullbrick approach, we wanted to keep this workshop open to participants of all language levels. So we will make sure that the environment is accessible to everyone, and to help with that, we will have us as native-speaking facilitators, and also we will have Ka Foscari Jisho, which was introduced earlier. By the way, we invite you to download it too if you are interested in Italian language. And yeah. So as you might have noticed, Nullbrick was studied within Japanese. The Japanese studies field, so it will actually be the first time that we are applying this method to Italian. But because of its flexible and inclusive nature, we thought it would be a great fit for other languages as well. But we are looking forward to the feedback of all the participants. And I am very happy to say that we had a very positive response to the workshop. So a lot of students applied for it, but I'm also sorry to say that I'm afraid we are at full capacity. But even if you didn't manage to register for the workshop, we absolutely invite you to come in. The doors will be open. There will be exhibitions around. So please do have a look around. Feel free to observe and to chat with us as well in the language you prefer, Italian, English, or Japanese. And that's it for me now. So I will just quickly give the word to Nicolas, who will tell you more about the contents of this workshop.
Thank you, Margherita. Hello, everyone. So as Professor Maiotti has shown us before, the Nullbrick approach has been adopted in a large amount of projects concerning the teaching of Japanese language. However, this will be the first time the Nullbrick approach will be used for the teaching of the Italian language. I say first time, officially speaking, because I am, as a educational coordinator and a language teacher, I have adopted some of the core principles of Nullbrick approach in my language classes in Ashinaga Foundation as a Ashinaga Foundation worker. That being said, we would really like to thank them since they helped us to train and polish our ideas to be ready for this event at our best. I'm sorry. As for this workshop contents, goals, and objectives, since the three keywords, as Mariotti's professor has been said before, are collaboration, inclusion, and co-responsibility, the workshop will start with by knowing each other and introducing ourselves, our likes, looking up for words into the Jisho app, and going around the auditorium consulting the videos. A core part of the laboratory will be the group discussion and the sharing part, where we will go back to our group and share our experience, narrating what we saw with our own words. We are a bit over time, we are sorry for that, but we would really like to thank, we would like to say that we are really grateful for all the people who registered, and it's really an honor to share our ideas on this global stage. We hope that this workshop will spark insights, questions, and new possibilities. Go seichou arigatou gozaimashita.
Thank you very much to Marcella and the young team. Okay, and now, Gala. And Gala, she will talk about rediscovering the art of Japanese writing through an important manuscript that is preserved at the University of Naples L'Orientale. Please, Gala.
Thank you very much. 皆様こんにちは、ナポリ東洋大学の准教授、日本語日本文学准教授のフォラコガラと申します。どうぞよろしくお願いします。私も英語で、お話をさせていただきますけれども、パワーポイントは、 非常に素朴であまり面白くない全然ファンシーじゃない、パワーポイント発表なんですけれども、それは日本語になっているので、もしよかったらご参照ください。よろしくお願いいたします。So good afternoon, everybody. Buon pomeriggio, and thank you for coming here. My name is Gala Maria Follaco, and I'm a researcher of Japanese modern literature, associate professor Japanese at the University of Naples L'Orientale in Italy. I want to thank all of you for coming here. It's really an honor to be here, and I'm really happy on behalf of my university and the team that work with me to be part of this project. So I want to thank also Professor Saccon and the group we are working with. Our project, it's a smaller project compared to the ones you have heard about until now, and it's called Orient Tales. The subtitle in English is 3 Centuries on Travels and Books, and this hints at the fact that our university was founded in 1732, so it's almost 300 years old, and we're very proud of it. And it's been almost 300 years old, it's been almost 3 centuries that we are working on Asia in general, and also on Japan in particular. As I said in Japanese, my presentation is not as fancy as the ones you have seen before, so just bear with me, and plus is in Japanese. Our small project, which is called Orient Tales, is a project that has been launched some years ago from the library of our department, in particular the Asian, African, and Mediterranean Studies Department of the University of Naples L'Orientale. We are presenting a video journey, which you will be able to see in the following days. A video journey that takes us back to the origins of the Japanese language teaching in Naples, but also in Italy. Also aiming to find this kind of cultural heritage that we conceive of. In this project, we conceive of bibliographic heritage as cultural heritage, and so we really wanted to present this kind of heritage that we have in our library and that we are preserving since many years in a broader setting such as this one. A little bit about the name, which is Orient Tales, and it's a sort of wordplay with the name of our university, of course, which is Orientale. Orientale, Oriental, aims at Asia because, as I said, it was founded in 1732, and it was called Collegio dei Cinesi, which means Chinese college, and it was mainly a language school of Chinese and Italian to instruct missionaries who were actively involved in the missions trying to propagate Catholicism in Asia. So L'Orientale, the name of the university, and also Asia accounts for the Orient part of the name, and also Tales, which means stories, monogatari, and it focuses on the stories that this bibliographic heritage tells us, stories that can teach us something about the past and help us understand better the present, and probably leading us towards the future, which is, I think, also the aim of many projects that we have been hearing about until now. It is a heritage that has to do also with maps, with many documents, with translations of Japanese works, and also with teaching materials, which is the real focus of the project and the workshop that the 2 workshops that we will organize on the 9th, so in a couple of days. As many of you know, the history of the relations between Japan and Italy go back to the latter half of the 19th century, and in particular in 1866, when the Italo-Japanese Treaty of Amity and Commerce was signed. So at that time, of course, I think it was the same in Japan when a sort of interest for Italy aroused. And this also aroused an interest for Japan in Italy, of course, and so there were many people who were eager to know more about Japan and also to learn the Japanese language. At that point, it is at that point that Japanese language began to be taught in Italy, and I'm very happy because we have the representatives of the first two universities where Japanese was taught. So we have the University of Florence, where it was taught in 1865, and in the University of Venice, Ca' Foscari, where it was taught since 1873. In Naples, it started a little bit later. It was 1903. But there was already a lot of interest towards these Japanese classes, and not so many students, but students who were really, really interested and really wanted to know about Japan. So at the beginning, I'm sorry, I forgot to go on with the slides, but I'm sure you. So at the beginning, there were very few students, as I said, and very few means to instruct students, because of course there was not a tradition of Japanese language teaching. There wasn't even a proper tradition of language teaching, of modern language teaching at the time, but really Japanese language teaching was something new. And so the history of teaching Japanese in Italian universities, including Naples at the time, was really a sort of trial and errors process, trying to find the right way, which is we have been doing for a very long time, leading us to the beautiful project that Marcella introduced us to us before, and many other projects of teaching Japanese today. So we have this idea that the valorization, the active valorization of this kind of heritage would also be a way to better understand where we came from, and also to invent and to think other ways of teaching, because it's really important to just keep this kind of knowledge alive. The archive of our library in the Department of Asian, African, and Mediterranean Studies consists in many manuals, dictionaries, and, as I said, translations and proto-translations, like first attempts at translating Asian, and in particular Japanese, literary works. It's really interesting. It's a really interesting trip, the one we take every time we go to the library, because we find something that sometimes just make us smile, because we think it's really naive, and then we realize that it's something really, really important, because if today we have many students loving this language and working actively in order to become a sort of bridge between Japan and Italy, it's also thanks to the work that has been done in the century before. There was a little mystery in our archive, and when I speak of this, I really have to thank my colleague Antonio Manieri, who is here with me, because he's the one who found this material. It's a manual. It's a sort of manual of a cursive style, and it has been compiled apparently between 1937 and 1941. But the mystery is that there is no author. There is not a real author for this manual, except for some Adriano Fidora, who is someone who is literally unknown in the world of Japanese language teaching and Japanese studies in Italy. And we really do not understand why this manual is attributed to him. It's a very early example of cursive style manual in Europe, and nobody knows who Fidora is. We really don't know where he was from, and so we're looking into it. Antonio is actively looking into it, and we found out that this beautiful volume, which is in parchment, and it comes in a exquisitely elaborated wooden box, so it's something very precious, was probably sent from Japan, from a professor of L'Orientale to another professor of L'Orientale through this Fidora, who was someone who was in the military, so he was someone who really had nothing to do with Japanese studies. Nonetheless, this manual, which is being digitalized and will will be and will be published, will be available online just now for Expo, because we really wanted to put this online, the digitized version, to have something new, and so it will be accessible in the following days. It's known as it's being attributed to this Fedora, but we really do not know. So maybe during the workshop on the 9th, you can help us find out who Fedora is, and you can help us solve the mystery, which is really a mystery for us. This is really something that we were very happy to be doing here in Osaka. We really wanted to use this occasion to do something that would be meaningful, also in terms of on reflecting on the idea that cultural heritage, also as a bibliographic heritage, can help us make sense of the way we do things now and maybe find a better way to do things in the future. And so you're more than welcome to come and trying to figure out how this early students of Japanese in Italy use this kind of materials, which was the process through which they learned Japanese, and sometimes they learn Japanese very well. And so please come join us in case you, I think we're also fully booked, but we don't know, so maybe there is some spot left as well. So just come, take a look, and we really will try to make sense of all this together. So thank you. ご清聴ありがとうございました。
Thank you, Ghana. You are all invited to solve the mystery, okay? And after Gala Follaco, we have Andrea. Andrea, you are? Yes, Andrea Volpe of the University of Florence. He will talk about creative restoration and conservation.
Hi.
Okay, taking the example of the Florence Cathedral.
Okay, minasan, yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Volpe, Andrea Innocenzo des, Florence no Degaku Architecture School. Okay, so I would like to introduce you the workshop we are going to do in cooperation with Tokyo University and Kyoto Seika University and Otanai University. And I would thank the architects Sakasagawa Yoichi and Matsutomi Kenichi who are here. They will be our tutor. We will work with the student trying to describe our work as a university and an architecture school in Florence. Obviously, heritage preservation is very important, but it's very important also to remember, obviously, the patronage. So we are working together with Opera del Duomo, so Opera di Santa Maria del Fiore, Firenze, 1296. It's more than 700 years that they keep constantly care about the cathedral complex, the monumental complex. And then with Museo Leonardiano di Vinci, Comune di Vinci, and Centro Studi Leonardo da Vinci. So this is the team. Actually, they are just flying towards Osaka, and we work together as a university that takes care about heritage preservation without any kind of difference between what is really old and what is really ciotto old. So like this, we just figure out how to preserve this architectural kind of contemporary artwork of land art in Sicily, which is Decreto by Burri. But so we investigated the damages of the time and the diagnostic and the possible strategy to preserve this. Then obviously these are some examples of our work. So we take care about digital survey, about the preservation, and then involved in the workshop there is our construction lab. So these are a series of installations we did in Florence. So the students can learn by doing, and then obviously there is the extended reality, augmented reality lab that helped us in kind of show the potential of preserving heritage and preserving knowledges, just navigating on the website and over the internet, like describing the constant work of craftsmen and artists that are working for the Cathedral of Florence complex. So this is obviously the Florence Cathedral, and we have to remember that obviously Renaissance was an avant-garde movement, and it was looking forward, but it was relying over the past. So our school is kind of trying to follow this suggestion, and so we are kind of projected towards the future, but we are kind of able to preserve and to defend our heritage. So heritage preservation is not a sort of embalming the dead bodies of architectures. We are constantly trying to reenact or modifying or making or keeping them alive, okay? So this is Filippo Brunelleschi, and obviously he was following for the new design, contemporary design in Renaissance time. Obviously they were not knowing that they were living the Renaissance, but this was a striking new design that was based on the design by Arnolfo di Cambio. And so, but the knowledge of the structural system with the herringbones bricks that are self-sustaining, the double layered cupola, they were coming from the East, and especially from Iran. So cultural preservation is not a matter of identity, it's a matter of being opening to the world and to the contribution of different cultures. So these are the models that are preserved in the Cathedral Museum, and the system of the herringbones bricks that self-sustain the dome. So this is like the video that describes what our school did in terms of heritage preservation and documenting all the phases of the restoration, of the frescoes, of the structures and so on, and giving all the expertise to the Opera del Duomo. So another aspect I would like to underline is that for doing the dome, we just have to imagine the technology that was involved in the process. So these are the reconstruction of the wooden crafts structures that were kind of providing the transportation of the material at the very top of the dome. And this is the counterweight revolving crane that was designed actually by the architect who did and designed the dome, so Filippo Brunelleschi. This is a redesign of the crane done by Leonardo da Vinci in the Codex Ambrosianus. This video described very briefly probably this is the video that we have to show. I asked to the regia. So this is very fast, but what we talk about preservation, we imagine to maintain the process, but we tend to forget how that architecture was done. So it was a very high-tech process. So this is the systems of cranes that obviously were developed and designed by the architect, Filippo Brunelleschi. And all this has disappeared. So part of our job at the University of Florence, the Department of Architecture, is to document the processes that were kind of created and permit to build the monument. This is very important because we still can learn in terms of anti-seismic, especially we are in Japan, we see all these anti-seismic structures around us that were put in that job. Okay, so this is very quick. I go very fast forward. This is the crane designed by Brunelleschi and redesigned once again by Leonardo. Okay, we can stop. We can stop the video. Thanks. And go back to the, okay, but we tend to forget also that the relationship with the monuments was very rich in terms of generative process for avant-garde architectural group, especially during the 60s. And this is kind of the layout we are going to work here in Osaka with the students from the 3 universities we cooperate with. I am the coordinator of the agreement with the Tokyo University, Tohoku University, Kagoshima University, and especially with this land. With this last, we are about to open a diffuse museum in Italy that was supported by a city government. And this was the result of a joint workshop. So collaboration with Japanese university can create real occasion and real project, okay? So this is a group that was founded in the 70s and late 60s. It's a bunch of architects that at the time were young, and actually the one on the right was my professor, Adolfo Natalini, who is going to be involved in the 2015 as the team leader of the architects that will design the museum of the Cathedral of Florence. So what they were thinking were kind of to experiment through drawings a possibility, a utopian vision of architecture. So I briefly go forward as fast as I can, without any problems in terms of relationship with the monuments and the preservation. Obviously, what I want to show you here is that all these very this is the heritage of a Japanese metabolism of the Japanese avant-gardes in architecture, but obviously they were kind of experimenting the possibility to explore new possibility in relationship with the monument, as we can see with the cathedral. And then with this incredible collage that is kind of making us shiver, but it's kind of make us also very, very happy in terms of the possibility of the avant-garde architecture in terms of relationship with the monuments. So so this is the output of the design of the cathedral that was done years later by one of the architects. You see Michelangelo, the position, and then the beautiful reconstruction of the facade of the original cathedral. So there is no contradiction between architectural preservation and avant-garde architectural. Okay, so that is like the layout of the workshop we're going to do with Japanese students, and this is a sort of homage to another very revolutionary group that was active in 1968, 1970 in Florence, and they were using inflatable architecture, and they were using, so this is an image in Ponte Vecchio, right in the city center of Florence, as a sort of performative action, and we are going to try to reenact this in the workshop, but also to reenact what Brunelleschi did, and these were kind of brought around Florence, and then obviously in front of the Cathedral of Florence itself on the Sagrato. So what we're going to do, obviously we are paying homage to this very radical, very avant-garde architectural culture that was developed especially in 1970 in Osaka. These are the various experimentations in Europe, but in Osaka 1970, there was this amazing pavilion that were inflated. As you can see, the American pavilions, and this mesh balloon that were kind of done here about some years ago. We will reenact this, and then we will pay homage to this tradition coming from the Edo period, the Koshizu, which is a technique of kind of showing the interior of the Japanese tea houses folding paper. So exactly this book was printed here in Osaka, and we are kind of trying to reenact this with the help of the Japanese students. So to preserve is not being blocked. To preserve is being creative. As architects, we are all the time try to reconstruct and to make sense. Okay, so we try to do this in the workshop. I'm afraid it's full capacity as well. So 3 universities are participating. There will be 50 about people here in the, doing what? Doing a Brunelleschi game. So, because another very important thing is that we can seriously teach very serious academic subject having fun. So this is the most important thing. We don't want to be a very high academic. We want to play a game. And the game is just to make new architecture because they embodied the fragility of our heritage and the skills that is involved in our job as professor of architecture, architects, and so on. So soon there will be inflatable Brunelleschi dome here in this room, and so you can take selfies, you can play with it, and probably imagine to be in Florence for a while. Thanks. I'm done.
Thank you very much, Andrea. So, you could see many interesting projects here, and there are projects often connecting, involving other organizations, other universities, Italian, foreign, and also Japanese universities. All of our universities have agreements, important agreements, valuable agreements of research and mobility with Japanese universities. And all these projects, they were the starting point for generating a new one, that is MICA project, so Make Italian Culture Alive, that will be presented on the 8th of May, so on Thursday, and will go on Friday and Saturday. So, concluding, I would like to invite all participants, to visit our exhibition, our installations and workshop, so Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I would like to give heartfelt thanks to many people, to all and organizations, to all universities that took part in the project, and all my colleagues here that are representing their universities. I would like to thank them a lot for their contribution. And I would like to thank also my rector, Tiziana Lippiello, who strongly believed in this project. I would like to thank Changes Foundation for its support. And then the Ca' Foscari International Unit with Raffaele Rainone and Anna Moretto that held the strings of the entire organization in this month. And then I would like to thank our precious and tireless project manager, Matilde Nuzzo. I don't know where she is. She's not here, she's working, okay? She was here, okay. And then, again, thanks to the Italian Expo Commissariat and specifically Rossella Menegazzo, and then the Italian Pavilion. And I would like to thank this lively city for its enthusiastic welcome to everyone. And of course, I would like to thank you, all of you, for your interest in our culture, Italian culture, because that is a way to make it always alive. Thank you very much for being here with us today. Thank you. I believe we have the program here. Yes, this is our program, starting on Thursday afternoon and going on. And as you can see, we have a visiting experience, so you can see all our installations, and then there are a lot of workshops, so the changes in the one of repair and so on, the language one, the reconstruction of the dome of Florence Cathedral. Yes, exactly, and then also the one, the manuscript and the mystery of Gaia Follaca. Okay, so yes, if you have any questions, here we are here for you. Curiosity is something that you would like to know. You can ask in Japanese language, because here we have valuable professor of Japanese language. So. Okay, but you can also talk with people here. We are available. So, okay, so we are waiting for you here informally. And I thank you very much again. Okay, thank you.